Hello, this is Spotwolf off PB Nation and M. Carter Brown, and today we're going to be putting together a valve assembly for an Automag. You want the back half of the valve. This is the larger part that has no air port into it. You'll want also your overpressure regulator. This part seats down as far as you possibly can. This is the first part you put into it. It's made of brass generally. There were some made of stainless steel, but not very many of them. Basically just the first few runs. Do not ever take this apart. If you do, you will have to replace it. Well, trust me on that one. I don't really want to have to go into detail on that one. Now, a little bit of lubricant on that isn't bad. Just a single dot will do you. You know the routine by now, I'm sure. Just give it a little bit of a waxing. Seat it down. It'll need a little bit of persuasion to sit down in there right. I just push it down and finish it off. Just stick an Allen key down there, push it. Now, I forgot to mention the side that has the Allen key in it. You want to keep up. Always a good idea. Now, the next part you will want to do is take the Velocity spring pack. These are covered in a automotive lube. You don't want to take that off. That works best for these, I have found. And I've never had to actually re-grease mine as long as I've kept that on. Now you'll notice one end has a ring around it. That ring is the part that is the first part to go in. See, it sits like that. You'll be able to see it out the top. You'll be able to move it around, all that stuff. Then you want the velocity adjusting cap. This is the part that you screw in or out depending on how much, depending on if you need your velocity to go up or down. Just screw that in until it's relatively tight and leave it, and that will leave it ready for chrono next time you go to the field. Now at the front there is a little lip, as you can see right there. You want a little rubber donut. These seat right here and create a seal between the two halves for the airflow to come back into the regulator. You'll notice one side it'll just sit there and fall out. The other side it'll snap in. Stay secure. That's done. Now set this part aside. Now we're going to start on the second part of the valve itself. You're going to want this thing. It kind of looks like a cup seal, and you'll want the spring. Now you'll notice one end of the spring is bigger than the other. You want the small base to go on, like so. You will hear these referred to as the pineapple grenade. Well, they kind of do look like one, but trust me, if you throw this, you'll never find it. Just set it down in there like that. You'll give it a good push. It'll move around a bit, but that's okay. Now, you want the bolt bumper. The bolt bumper keeps the body and the bolt from hitting each other and damaging each other. Without this, your bolt lip, this part right here, can snap and chip and break away. That will leave your Automag useless until you get another bolt. Now, if you fit it over, it'll be a little bit of a tight fit, and then you just want to push it all the way down, and it'll click into place, and it'll spin, but it won't move anywhere without you pulling on it pretty hard. Now, onto the power tube assembly itself. You'll notice this one's a little bit short at the moment. That's because the power tube tip's not on. You'll want this O-ring. These are proprietary to Automags. They're small urethane O-rings, and they seem to have a very long life. This is this Automag valve's original O-ring, and it still looks pretty new. Now you want to sit that down in there, and they generally won't cooperate. You want something to push it down with into place, and it's not too hard to push it down into place. Just give it a few taps with an Allen wrench, and it'll seat right down. Then you want the spring. This is the power tube spring, and it sits right in there on top of that. Then, of course, you will want the power tube tip. These are brass, all sorts of different material depending on the age of your Automag. This one is brass. You want to screw it down, and you'll notice that it has a lip on it that you can screw down further. I find that the perfect fit and basically very accessible tool is a quarter. Take a quarter and tighten it down. Not overly tight, mind you, just tight enough to where you don't really have to. It won't move when you just try to spin it with your finger. Now, On the power tube itself, a little bit of lube goes a long way. Just a dot, and of course you know this by now, I'm sure. Give it a good spinning. It just needs a little bit of a layer. Now that will do it fine. Now onto the on-off assembly. This is the top of the on-off. It is also a brass piece, and you'll notice the one side is milled down and has an X cut into it. That X will. Here's the valve rod, or the on-off rod. You'll notice one end's bobbed. Now, the end that's not bobbed, see the X part, that. Now see, it will sit like that, and then you want the bottom of the on-off. This has a small urethane O-ring in the top, and a urethane O-ring around the midsection bit, or well, around the circumference of it. See that O-ring down here, the one around it? That one you want always pointing down. In other words, if you can see the urethane O-ring, you have it put together wrong. It just sits like that, and your on-off assembly is complete. Set that aside, or you can be smart and put it in the valve right away, like you probably should. The brass piece that we said that has the X on it, remember that one? You want to put that down. See, it'll seat right into the body. There's a nice big hole right there. Push it down in there, it'll click, and it won't move. The only way this thing will fly out, not under your pressure, is if you air up the gun with no frame on, or well, no rail. I'm sorry, no sear in it. Bad idea, trust me. Now that's together. The last thing to do is you want to screw the two valve bodies parts together. This is very simple. I'm sure you can figure this one out on your own. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now, you'll notice there's an insignia on the bottom. You want these two to meet up just like that, so you can see the whole thing, and it just works right together. Now, you'll also notice that there are two holes in the bottom that say oil. This is for Automags that if you don't want to clean them right away, if you're on the day of the field, if you're out there that day and you break paint or it's kind of acting weird, just a drop of oil in each one. Now that's not going to fix your problems, trust me, but that'll suffice for the day. Especially if you don't have to read chrono and everything. That works pretty well. A few shots after that's put in and you'll be fine. Now the bolt assembly is kind of self-explanatory. You have the bolt and you have the bolt spring. The bolt spring seats right over it like that. And it'll click into place and pretty much hold on to it. And I'm sure you can figure this one out. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Now this is the this is the back thumb screw for it. Normally this would go through the rail and the frame bottom, and it would sit just like that, hold the valve into the body. So, hope this video has helped anybody, and I will make a disassembly video if needed. Most of the time people can just watch these videos and kind of figure out the steps from watching it this way. But hey, you guys give me a PM if you need it, and I'll do so. Hope this has helped you guys, and I will hopefully have some first version videos up in a few weeks. It's starting to get warmer out here, and that's always a good sign.